your eyes. Your eyes, the heart with your eyes. Your eyes, the heart with your eyes. Your eyes, the heart with your eyes.
Hi, guys. Good morning from Japan. Good evening, US. It's about 9:53 now here for me, Monday morning, Japan, April 8th. So I'm 13 hours ahead of New York City. I thought I was 12 hours. I thought, so I messed up with the time. But that's why I decided to go ahead and get started. So shout out to everyone here on the chat already, in the chat. Yes, Adele, Jamie, Crane, True Sticker, Tennessee, Anson Howard, Texas here, Oklahoma, Washington, Elmira, New York. Hello, Frank. How are you? And everyone, even from Antarctica. We got someone from Antarctica today. Victor Lima, boa noite. All right, guys. So this is the thing. Where I have selected maybe 10 to 11, 12 short clips about this eclipse. A lot of things going on. I want to start saying that I'm not making any predictions. What I will do, I'm going to play 10 different clips and we will see what conclusion we get from this event that's happening on April 8th. A lot of crazy things and a lot of talks. I mean, I wish I could upload one video that I saw recently, but it's about almost 10 minutes long. Really profound, right? But YouTube will not let me upload that video. Hello, Indiana. Eldon's in the house. Hello, Gina. Gina loves flat Earth. Hello, hello. Bless you. So Montreal is in the house. Victor Lima. So I'm not making any predictions. I don't want to go to that biblical side because one video I watched this week, and some of you might know, shout out to Flat Earth Panda on TikTok. He uploaded the Illumina Corps, something like that. A video from 2010. Very interesting video, divided in 6 parts, and they describe all the role of secret societies in religion, politics, education. Extremely great video, and I'm probably gonna upload the short clips here in future shows. One of them is like they say, those secret societies, that many of the ministers and pastors or priests are theirs, belong to their organization, and they send to seminars, they become priests and pastors, and they teach wrong things. So we Christians must be careful with those predictions and stuff because he said on that video that they do that to confuse people, to deceive people. So be careful with those pastors and channels that are promoting uh, a date, a date or the rapture or whatever. Be careful, okay? Very careful. So we do have an important show today. Hello, Mike Smith. So let me get started by sharing my screen. So I've been challenging some globers to explain the path of this clip on the globe, actually. Because if you go to timeanddate.com, the sun and the moon is right here lying on the equator, okay? And they come, and they have this shadow coming, here from southeast to northeast, which makes no sense whatsoever. Now, we know, as I have told you guys several times, that on the flat earth is not a perfect circle. It's like an ellipse, okay? So it makes sense on the flat earth, but doesn't really make sense on the globe. So I have challenged a few globes to make an animation showing the tilt of the earth in those 4 minutes to explain the movement of this eclipse right here. So I have not, gotten a satisfactory answer from them about it. All right, so what I will do, I'm going to play a few clips and then we will talk about those clips, all right? And one thing I want to tell you guys before we start, we have had several small scale tremors here in Japan. We had 2 weeks ago, we had last week. It's been like weekly, we feel a little bit. So it's possible, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I cannot rule out that even because it happened, I was having an Skype class with a student, and we both started shaking. She was in another city, another town here, and both of us were feeling like it was shaking. Okay, so it's possible. I'm not saying that's going to happen, and I hope it doesn't, but it's possible. Lately, we have had a lot of shakes. Okay, so if you see me running here, it's because my alarms are going off, and they tell us to leave the apartment and go outside. So I'm just in case. Okay, we are living some crazy times. So let me go ahead. Shout out to everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the very first clip. I'm gonna play this clip, and we will talk about very important. This clip is 3 minutes long, talking about an ellipse, and the person explains the difference between eclipse and ellipse. Right. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this clip right here.
NASA clearly said there were going to be an ellipse during the eclipse. Do you know what an ellipse is? If you don't, listen, this should be the most shared video I ever put out. I am going to show you why you do not want to be in the path of totality during this eclipse. And it is because of an ellipse. I can't believe they're getting ready to do this to us. If you ever had a kidney stone too large to be passed, they use a lithotripter, which is focused energy of an ellipse. Same concept. And this breaks down stones. So what do you think is going to happen when they fire up something as powerful as CERN from one side of the world to the other, focusing on the path of totality? This next video should give you a clue of what's going on.
Isn't this shape interesting? Each of these two special points of the ellipse is referred to as focus, and together they're called the foci of the ellipse. Wait, there's more. Elliptical shapes even play a role in a medical device called the lithotripter.
Pay attention to the lithotripter.
Due to its reflective property, it's used to break the kidney stones. High-frequency shock waves are generated at one focus of the elliptical-shaped reflector, which gets concentrated at another focus point where the kidney stones are positioned. And this helps in breaking the kidney stones.
Come back and please check this video out. I just shortened it for sakes of my video. NASA did a press conference. There will be an ellipse with the eclipse, and they are firing up CERN. And we also know that this goes hand in hand with HAARP. So you have a focal point here, a focal point there, and this only works if there is a domed roof. Let that sink in, people. Now, back to business. Now, I've had kidney stones, and I've also had one of my kidney stones broken down with lithotripsy, which means that they can focus frequency to a specific spot to break things up. I showed you all the path of totality, and I showed you that there would be a new river carved from Louisiana all the way up through New York along the path of totality. And they are going to use an ellipse to accomplish this. Please do not, I repeat, do not be in the total path of totality. Do not. I don't care. Call it fear mongering. Get the fuck away. You are about to die.
All right, guys. So this clip really made me think because in fact, I did watch the NASA saying about this ellipse, and they were not talking about the eclipse. They were talking about this ellipse, and it came back, brought it to my mind. If you guys remember the Challenger, the event of the Challenger, what happened during that day? They had all the kids watching, the whole nation, everybody was going to watch that event. They had a lot of advertisements. They canceled classes, or they had the students to watch, because they had planned something on that day. They had planned to explode that stuff, which had nobody inside, all right, to shock the nation. So the same thing here. You must remember that in several places they are even canceling classes. They are encouraging people to go out and watch this eclipse. Okay, why? Why? This is. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to. As I said before, I don't make any predictions, but we have had so many eclipses, man. I'm in my 50s, and I've seen a couple of eclipses, and I had the opportunity to see. I unfortunately I did not film it, but back 3 years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, we had a selenium eclipse, and it was amazing because the moon. I'm facing south, okay, and that's north for me. So the moon rose a little bit to northeast. Okay, it was already eclipsed from the top, shadow on top, illuminated on bottom, and the sun was still up here. It was like 5:30 in the afternoon. I was teaching a class. My wife, she sent me a message, go out, get to see the eclipse. The moon is eclipsed, and it was daytime, right? So we know the moon, solar moon are not caused by the Earth being in between because both the sun and the moon were above the horizon. And but it's still, even that wasn't a special eclipse, nobody, left the kids out or told anybody to watch or anything. So we got to be a little bit suspicious on that, why, like they are encouraging people to go out and see. And I don't know. It could be that they will be faking something, all right? Or, yeah, they could be faking something and people will see whatever it is and, maybe think aliens from outer space and stuff like that. So we need to be careful because these people are capable of anything, all right? So before I move on to the next clip, I got a couple very interesting clips here. Let me shout out here a little bit more. So Rotten Politicians, Jenna Love, Oxbow Spirit. So everybody here in the chat, God bless you guys. Sanjay, Flat Earth is real, that's right. So let's move on to the next clip, okay? I got 10 clips to play, and we will be talking about each one of them, all right? Very important. So let's move on to the next one, this one right here.
What are they planning with this solar eclipse? Listen to this.
Cell phone coverage may be a challenge that day. While we are surging resources in terms of additional coverage, and while we are basically expanding the bandwidth that 911 could use, it is possible that cell phones get a bit overloaded. If that happens, remember that 911 will continue to work. 911 works even when our cell phone grid is overloaded, but only use 911 for true emergencies. Being stuck in traffic, if you are okay, is not a true emergency.
I'm not going to lie to you. This April 8th solar eclipse, it might not just be a nothing burger because you have press conferences like this warning people about the April 8th solar eclipse. They're definitely planning something. I don't know what, but even NASA, as much as some people don't believe in NASA, they're even preparing for it to take advantage of this situation. Listen to this.
Hello, everyone. I'm Acting NASA Press Secretary Faith Mackey, and thank you for joining us this morning as we look forward to the upcoming total solar eclipse on April 8th. During today's press conference, you'll learn more about what to expect during the eclipse, how you can participate, how NASA and government agencies will use the eclipse to advance science, and how to view it safely.
They're warning about cell phone outages, and now you have NASA saying that they're going to try to take full advantage of the situation. Look, at the end of the day, I am a prepper before I am an investor.
So they are saying they will be taking advantage. And if you guys remember, I think it was Hillary Clinton who said, never let a crisis to go wasted, They got to take advantage of situations like that and do something on top of it. So I'm in my 50s. I've seen a couple, I don't know how many eclipses I have seen South America or here in North America or in Asia. But they are taking advantage of this eclipse and they're going to do something. And they probably will blame the eclipse. And I have more clips and more things that we will be talking about. But definitely they might be using this event as they will fire rockets or do some crazy science experiment. And of course, if something goes wrong, they may always blame the eclipse. They will not blame themselves. They will be blaming the eclipse, right? So you guys be careful. Again, I never seen phone outages in all the eclipses we have had before. Never happened. But now they're saying we might, especially you guys there in the US, you might have problem with the uh, coverage. Okay, so let's move on. This is really interesting for me. If some of you guys know, I have a degree in emergency management. I did work in the field for a while, so we did a lot of preparation, simulation, earthquake simulations, and all sorts of disasters, chemical or biological or man-made disasters or natural disasters. We had all the training, all that stuff. This is important because these guys have been planning for an eclipse that's going to last 4 minutes. They have been planning for this event for 2 years. Okay, remember the eclipse will last 4 minutes, but they've been planning for this for 2 years. So let's watch this one.
I have a massive warning about the eclipse. I was very conflicted on whether or not I was going to make this video. Go nowhere near the path. Watch this, and then we'll talk.
That's not all that he's concerned about.
That people want to do us harm. Use an event like this where a lot of people are gathered to do some type of terror event.
The director of the Lake County Emergency Management Agency told me they've been preparing for the solar eclipse now for about 2 years.
Why have they been preparing for this for 2 years? 2 years for an eclipse. There's an alleged inside source talking to people high up in security, and they are saying that a devastating event is going to happen where all the people are gathering to watch the eclipse. I can't tell you who or the organization or what supposedly is supposed to happen at this eclipse viewing, but I can tell you this. Military, stocking up on food and water, radios, batteries. This does not make sense. The biblical proportions and parallels in this event do not make sense. The preparations being made for this and being made over the last 2 years do not make sense. In this instance, I would love to be wrong. I would love for their source to be wrong, but it's better safe than sorry. There's way too many things happening right now for us to discount. Make sure you stay far away from where that eclipse is going. If nothing happens, then great. But worst case scenario, when something does happen, you'll be safe and anybody you warn will be safe. Here's the path again if anyone needs to see it. I'd rather be a lunatic and actually give people a chance to be safe than not say anything at all. And whether or not something does happen on the 8th, massive changes are coming soon.
So, interesting clip, this one. They've been preparing for 2 years, so I can imagine if I were still working on the field, all our leaders would say, 2 years prior, let's say 2022, we started preparing for an event that only lasts 4 minutes. So there is something going on. We don't know what it is, okay? I'm not talking about like miraculously. I'm talking about human people behind with some maybe bad plans for other people, for innocent people. So it's possible, again, they will do something and blame the Russians, they will blame the Iranians, they will blame other people. This is one aspect, okay? I'm talking about one aspect, the political or the war or terrorist aspect, because we never know these people's agenda. they're going to be using something or not. We don't know. Now, I would love to be on the path to the eclipse and look, right? But again, the guy has a point. Okay, what if they are planning? That's why they're encouraging people canceling class and say, "Oh, go watch the." What if they are planning a mass casualty event? You never know. That's the thing. We never know. If we had not, if we haven't had weak leaders, everyone would be safe. But we do have weak leaders. We have leaders who worship the devil. We have leaders who worship idols, make sacrifice. Right. So that's the difficult aspect of this event. We don't really know what to expect. It could be a beautiful day. You go out with your family, picnic. Let's wow, that's amazing. This is God's work. But because there are evil people in power, we might wanna be careful. Not to be where too many people are. Play safe. It's better be safe than sorry. All right, let's move on to the next clip. As I say, I have a couple interesting clips here that will give us something to think about. Okay, so let's look at this APEP rocket. One of the rockets, I guess, that NASA is launching has a name of a snake. So let's go ahead and watch this thing.
All right, so we've all heard by now that NASA's allegedly going to be shooting 3 rockets at the shadow of the eclipse. And preface, I don't have an opinion about the eclipse. I have no idea. All of it's weird. I'm just letting go and letting God. But I studied a lot into APEP, which is what they're calling their mission, which is named after a serpent deity. APEP is also known as Apophis or Apophis. And so I just want to tell you a little bit about just the weirdness behind that. And you can do with that what you will. You can see they're really excited about it. Now, not only is APEP or Apophis an Egyptian mythical god, little g god, who is the embodiment of darkness, chaos, destruction, and non-existence, and is known to be one of the, if not the most evil of the deities in ancient Egyptian mythology, but we'll come back to that. It's also a controversial near-Earth asteroid called asteroid 99942, Apophis, that is supposed to fly by Earth closer than has ever been recorded in modern day in 2029, but weirdly that date used to be 2025. A lot of weirdness surrounding it, okay? And NASA's not hiding anything. They tell you right here that that asteroid, Apophis, got its name by being named for the demon serpent who personified evil and chaos in ancient Egyptian mythology. So, as always, interesting choice. I mentioned that Apophis is known as the Destroyer, patron of evil and darkness, right? Who else? What other deity is the Destroyer? Do you know? Shiva. You know, the Hindu deity whose statue is in front of the CERN headquarters, where the Large Hadron Collider is. Cute? And then also, there is a very good argument to be made that this king Apophis or Apophis of ancient Egypt was the pharaoh at the time of the Exodus.
So what else to say, guys? Yes, in fact, they say this eclipse is the same one that happened when the Hebrews left Egypt, the 3 days of darkness in Egypt. So it's so interesting, like, NASA, they always name those missions to gods, Roman gods or Greek gods, and now Egyptian gods. Okay, and pharaohs. So it's so to your face, they're shoving it to our faces. And I had some arguments with some atheists this week. It's amazing how those atheists are blind. They don't see it, the spiritual side of everything that's going on. And why NASA would name rocket Apex, which is a destroyer, like a demon destroyer. So many things, like it's so clear that there is a spiritual side to this whole thing going on. And so she made some interesting points, about this Shiva. Well, why are those bunch of scientists at CERN carrying a statue of Shiva, I mean, it's so clear. Right? If those people were really, truly atheist scientists, why would they do anything like this? How those guys even find these names? They search and they find it. Oh, who was the pharaoh at the time of the Exodus? Oh, okay, his name was Apophis or whatever. Oh, let's name this rock that name there. I mean, it's like they are researching more than we do. So lots of things going on. It definitely it's not just a regular. It could be just a regular eclipse, like the sun, the dark body is going block the light of the sun, and that's it. 4 minutes is over. Everybody goes back and take care of their business, but they are making such a big deal, and why? Okay, the question is why. So let me check I'll check the chat here quickly, and then we'll go back. I got several more clips that we can play and talk about it. So Jack McLean, shout out. Shout out to everyone here. Okay. Live music. Yeah, maybe it's nothing burger, but only a fear campaign. Yeah, it could be just a fear campaign, just to get people, those solar flares, they might not be solar flares. We have seen the sun. They do it. They might be, I mean, we never know, man. They do it. You're welcome, Loon. They may be doing this and blaming on solar flares or whatever. Okay? So, we never know. Cheryl, is the end of the world as we know it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, zombie. So there is something about the zombie also. Let's go ahead and keep playing some of the videos. Okay? So they're talking about, since we know, some people say that the moon and the sun are not aligned. We're going to get to that. But I found this one very interesting here. The mainstream media admitting there might be an unknown planet. So let's watch this one here.
You to vote on the news, and here's the winner. There's a huge, hidden, heavenly body right here in our solar system. Evidence is mounting that either a brown dwarf star or a gas giant planet is lurking at the outermost reaches of our solar system, far beyond the planet Pluto. According to the British newspaper The Independent, the object is 4 times the size of Jupiter. Experts say the presence of such a massive object could explain why a barrage of comets has been coming from that direction.
There's something absolutely insane that everybody needs to know immediately about this upcoming total solar eclipse. That being that the sun and the moon are not actually due to align during this total solar eclipse. And if you notice on any star maps or even Skyview in itself, if you fast forward to where the actual eclipse is, you'll notice that they are not in alignment. Who knows? But what I do know is that the sun and the moon have been out of alignment since September of last year.
Okay, so again, let me go back to my picture here that I got from timeanddate.com. So I was following, like you follow the timetable hour. So the sun and the moon was right here, just above the crater. They come. So down here, okay. But at the same time, you see the eclipse going way from southwest to northwest. So definitely, it seems like it's not the moon that's going to be causing this eclipse, and they know that. So they will probably be saying, "Oh, like say a giant gas planet went in front of the moon and we were not expecting. I don't know. We're just speculating here what could or could not happen and what excuse they might have. Let's say that if the moon is seen, everybody see the moon like several degrees away from where the sun is, and say, look, but the moon is right there. What's causing the eclipse? Okay, so they have already an excuse ready for that. They will say, oh, a giant gas planet went before, in front of the sun. So they will have an excuse ready for that. But you guys saw they are acknowledging that there might be a dark body, which we already have known. If you guys remember, I played that John Levy clip a couple weeks ago talking about the orbs. Okay, and I will play it today again. So let's go ahead. Another interesting video that we will be talking about. NASA. Some say that NASA. I have to find that, but NASA seems like they want access to your phones. So people who are filming the eclipse, they want to have access to your phone. So is it for them to erase later what you have captured on the video? Or why are they willing to do that? So let's go ahead and watch this one.
Hey y'all, so I saw this funny article today and I thought we should talk about it. It says here that NASA's telling us you shouldn't use your phone to photograph the eclipse. Now, I find that interesting, and you can read their key takeaways as I talk about it. Now, back in 2022, I started doing videos of the sun and the sky during the day, and this particular phone that I'm recording on right now has recorded over 50 hours of direct sunlight and thousands of pictures of the sun. There is no damage to my camera. It works just as good as it did 2 years ago. And here it talks about how if you point it at the sun, even for a short amount of time, it is likely to fry the internal circuits. Why is it that they don't want us to record the eclipse directly with your camera? I'm going to have 4 cameras on the eclipse that day. Think about it.
Can somebody explain this to me? Why in the heck did my 16-year-old son just message me telling me that next Monday their entire school is being let out at 11 a.m. so that everybody can go home and watch the solar eclipse? Like, I get that this is like a big deal. I even remember, I think it was around like 3rd or 4th grade, seeing a solar eclipse, and it was like not going to happen for 1,000 years back then. And I get it. But it's 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Can't you just pass out the glasses at school, let them walk outside, see the solar eclipse, and then everybody goes back inside? Like, we really have to cancel school or do early dismissal for this? I don't know. I might be overreacting, but I think this is absolutely ridiculous. I feel like the world today is finding every reason not to work.
All right, so let's see what the lady says first, and then we go for what the guy said. So as I said, the path of the eclipse, it's going to go from, northeast to southwest. That's the path, okay? Some places, they are encouraging people to go out and watch. So could that be, as I said, I'm just working thinking as an emergency manager, okay? Could it be that some casualties are planned for that region? So that region, they are encouraging people to go out and watch because that's where they are planning to do something. Not saying they are planning, or they're not saying that they did plan anything. It's hypothesis, okay? So let's say that they plan something for area A. So in that area, they are encouraging people to go and watch the eclipse. Other areas where nothing is planned, they are encouraging people not to watch the eclipse, not to film the eclipse. NASA wants access to your camera. Maybe they want to erase the videos that you have recorded, or other regions. I just said the guy reading his region where they are saying not to. NASA told them not to film the eclipse because the sun might burn the circuits of your phone or something like that. So, they're playing different things in different parts, of this eclipse, right? So different uh, information are being uh, dissipated among the population in different areas, okay? So pretty weird, right? We all, as I said, we have been, go to YouTube, you see several eclipses filmed all over. Nobody ever cared about your phone. Okay, suddenly NASA cares about your phone and is telling you not to film the eclipse because circuits in your phone might be, damaged because of that. That's pretty weird. So it might be something like, as I said, maybe somebody will be filming the eclipse. Oh, wait a minute, look, the moon is right there. So if the moon is right there, what's causing the eclipse? And they don't want us people capturing this stuff. You never know. Okay, I'm just hypothesizing, right? So let's move on to the next one. So this is also important. You guys have to pay attention.
Yes, we're planning for a mass casualty event that day, but that's not really our worry. Our worry is how do we get our heart attacks and our stroke patients to the emergency department if the roads are completely at a gridlock and we can't get... Yes, we're planning for a mass casualty event that day.
Now I understand. I get it. They are preparing for all the traffic in that area. That makes total sense. And I get why states issued a state of emergency because they get funding. So I understand that as well. But these little slips from the news, like the other one yesterday about the Eclipse earthquake, how we just had a 4.8 magnitude earthquake in New Jersey, and then we had a 4.8 earthquake in Brazil, and then we had a 6.0, 6.5 in Japan, and then 7.4 in Taiwan, and then we just had a 5.0 or 4.4 in California. I mean, California has them all the time, so I get it. We can kind of blow that out of proportion when earthquakes happen every single day, but there's so many things happening. It's hard to even comprehend what's going to happen, The biggest thing on my mind is an earthquake. I think that's a safe projection of what's going to happen because the 1811, 1812 earthquake of the New Madrid fault line had a eclipse, in that same era or same time span, and then they had the earthquake, right? I mean, it's kind of been proven how eclipses do have a part to play, or they could possibly, speculation, personal opinion.
All right, so the guy said, which is true, when I was in the emergency management or emergency preparedness, working that field, when I was in the field, several times the EMA, the local EMA, got a lot of grants. They were preparing for this, that, and they got $1 million, $2 million grant. And I remember seeing the guys, the leaders, all driving Mercedes-Benz and BMWs. And sometimes they request the money. They do all this emergency stuff just so they can get the money. And since there will be no emergency, that money is never returned anyway. So they could be doing something. You got to think of all aspects. Okay, so maybe all these scare tactics is just to grab more money from government, and then instead of using this for a real emergency that which will never occur, they just keep the money and do whatever they want with the money. Okay, this is one hypothesis as well. Just I'm saying we're talking about different hypotheses. Why are they doing this? Are they really planning for mass casualties, or is this just a way to scare people and get money funding? We don't know. Right? We don't know. A lot of weird things. They are taking advantage of this eclipse and to do a lot of things. Fire CERN, fire rockets, get money. And perhaps some even they may cause some casualties. Make some false flag event. Never know. So just be prepared. I don't know. As I said, I would love to be watching with my family, having a picnic, okay, but those guys' plans we cannot trust. So let's look at a spiritual side. Now, this lady is interesting because she was not paying attention at the eclipse at all. She was, this is just, scare tactics. Nothing's going to happen. And in fact, it's possible nothing is going to happen. But she changed her mind. So let's take a listen.
I don't think there's going to be some major cataclysmic event. Yeah. So I'm going to take back what I said. So I'm here at the conference at Hear the Watchman, and I sponsored Jamie Walden as one of the speakers. And if any of you know Jamie's preaching, it is totally amazing, and I can't wait to share it online. But I learned something new yesterday that makes me look at this eclipse very differently. So who out there in the world has not heard of Aleister Crowley? I'm sure all of you have and know the one famous book that he wrote, the Book of the Law. You know, the one with the famous saying, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." So during Jamie's message yesterday, I found out that Aleister Crowley got this download from the spiritual realm on April 8th, 9th, and 10th of 1904. And it just so happened that there was a total solar eclipse during this time. Crowley proclaimed the arrival of a new stage in the spiritual evolution of humanity to be known as the Eye of Horus, with its primary precept of "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." And if you don't know and aren't aware, many of the elite, probably most all of them, follow Aleister Crowley's teachings because there's a lot of nefarious things he taught. And if you know anything about Alice Bailey and the Great Awakening, all of their plans center around the year 2025. Because there are things coming that they don't want you to see. They want you to think all of this is done by climate change because they don't want you to realize what God is doing so that you will repent of your sins and come to know the saving grace of his salvation.
All right, excellent point. They might be distracting people. It may be perhaps a warning from the Lord, and they want to, no, just look at this way. It's this thing. They're going to blame this. Oh, no, nothing to worry about. It was just some terrorist attack, but we have it under control. These people, we never know. So somebody wrote Mr. Jones, Aleister Crowley, A-lister celebrities coincidence. Yep, he can be, like A-list, all those A-list celebrities, and they really worship or, they like Aleister Crowley a lot. All right, so difficult to say, guys. As I said, and I've seen the comments here, Y2K, I remember Y2K as well. A lot of scare, but it wasn't like this. Nobody predicted any like mass casualties or they were just saying, well, the computers are gonna go down. We might have some financial problems, maybe some delays in flights, but never something like, like mass casualties and hospitals. And I had, I don't have this on video, but I have, I pasted the documentation of some people who work in the, as first response, EMT hospitals, the people who are in the emergency rooms or whatever, they have also been preparing for this, for a certain period of time. So, you never know, right? So let's go on. Let's play a couple more. Lexan, yes. Ketu, Rahu, all that stuff. We're going to be talking about that stuff as well. So let's move on to the next video and maybe talk about it.
There's been a lot of weird things happening in our skies, and we've all been watching. We see it, right? Well, the eclipse on April 8th really has me wondering, what the heck is going on? You see, our sun and our moon aren't going to be in alignment on the 8th. If you look at their positioning right now, there's no way they can be in alignment on the 8th. So what's causing the eclipse? I've been sun gazing for a long time, and this morning when I went up to look at the sun, something said, take a picture. So I did. What is that? It's not a camera flare. It's not a lens flare, because that's right there. So what is that? If that's the lens flare, what is that? What is that?
Alright, so lots of videos about it. I'm a little bit skeptical about this, and when I had David Wise here, I talked about that stuff. Why? Because there is an app that fakes that stuff, and I'm gonna show you guys right now. Okay. As a matter of fact, I did fall for that before I knew about the app long time ago. Okay. Then I learned, oh, okay, I see. There is an app that make that stuff. Now, let me just share my screen. All right, this app here. Okay, so some people posted these videos here showing, oh, you know, there's an eclipse in the sky. And now, pay attention, guys. This is it's an app. It's fake. It's not real, right? It's not real. Okay, you're gonna see the moon. He's gonna show the moon somewhere else, right there. Okay, so everybody, like I saw in Brazil, they had like a 2 hours long live stream talking about this video. But see, there is an app there that you fake this stuff. Okay, so I'm skeptical about these 2 suns videos, 2 moons, 2 suns, because there are apps out there that can fake that stuff. And I have seen, TikTok, there are several videos of 2 suns, and when I had David Wise here, said, well, perhaps it's the reflex on the firmament, okay? I am skeptical about that, because I know there are apps that can fake that 2 suns or 2 moons or eclipses, okay? Am I 100% sure it's fake? No, I'm not. I don't know. The lady said she took a picture and they showed that stuff, to something behind the sun. But I don't know. Okay, I'm skeptical. I believe the biblical account. God created the sun to govern the day, the moon to govern the night, 2 luminous and the stars. And if the 3 suns, 4 suns, all that stuff, I don't think that's the truth. Now, did he create dark bodies? Possibly, and it's not in the Bible. Maybe it was, and it was removed. Someone just said that the Vatican has 500 books. The Bible should have like 600 books, and the Vatican has kept like 500 of them, just made public whatever we have. Oh, these people know more than we can, imagine. Let's move on to CERN. This one talks about CERN, the stuff in Switzerland. They're going to fire up also on the day of the eclipse.
So no one's going to talk about how CERN is starting back up on April 8th. The solar eclipse where everybody's freaking out because they're deploying nuclear units. That's right. Look at that. Start on April 8th, followed by the SPS North area on the 10th of April. The Awake facility behind the SPS will run for 10 weeks in total. 10 weeks, guys. That's why they're telling you to stock up on your food, resources, gas, etc. So, this is exactly what they're doing. Experimental infrastructure within the CERN complex of nuclear and particle physics experiments.
So they're going to be conducting experiments on the 8th, and for some reason they chose this date to be doing all that stuff. Okay, fire rockets, test the shadow, fire CERN, and who knows what else, but is it all a coincidence? Coincidence. The coincidence conspirationists, should be getting together. I don't know. But one more thing they are doing on the 8th, fighting this CERN stuff, So another thing they're talking about, I have already played a video of a dark body. They identified a dark body. They don't know. They say it's a giant gas ball planet. Okay, but there is a comet, so-called comet, a falling star. It's just to me my idea. There are no comets or meteors, all falling stars or fallen angels, that are circulating. So when we think about the planets, this Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, that did not keep their position, as in the book of Enoch says. Perhaps we do have a couple more besides those. They do a movement much more wide, and long than the others. So let's talk about this comet right now.
All right, everyone's excited about the big solar eclipse happening on April 8th, but did you know it's going to be an even bigger celestial show than you think? Well, of course, the eclipse is coming, and once we reach totality, the skies are going to go dark. It's going to feel like nighttime. You're going to be able to see some bright planets, Venus, Jupiter, but also, if you got a pair of binoculars, a very special sighting of Comet 12P right near Jupiter, right during the eclipse. It's a bonus, 4 for the price of 1. Enjoy.
Did you know that on April 8th, 2024, during the total solar eclipse, a unique celestial spectacle will be visible? This isn't just any celestial event, but the rare appearance of the Devil's Comet. This intriguing comet, discovered way back in 1812, will emerge from the shadows, gracing our skies during this total solar eclipse. Its path will take it near the Sun, traversing the constellations Andromeda and Pisces, making this a truly celestial ballet. With an orbital period of approximately 71 years, these visits are few and far between. Around mid-March, it will be closest to the Sun in the constellation Aries, and will then head into Taurus, passing near Jupiter mid-April. This comet will be approximately 27 degrees from the Sun, and close to bright Jupiter during the eclipse. So, what exactly is this Devil's Comet, and why is it making such a grand appearance? Discovered in 1812, the Devil's Comet, also known as Comet Pons-Brooks, is a Halley-type short-period comet.
Alright, so that's what it is, another falling angel. Just like the Bible says, the book of Enoch, the planets are falling angels, stars are angels, and that's another one. But in my opinion, they don't. This one in particular, it's not like Mars and Jupiter, the other ones that still, even though they did not keep their position as assigned by the Creator, they still having their sidereal day, just like the others. But this particular does not. It just wanders around and comes back once, every so many years. So another thing that you guys that will be watching the eclipse might be able to see, but there are many other things that they don't want you to see. That's why they don't want us to film or take videos of that stuff. Now, I did talk about the video from John Levy, where there was a flight back in 2014, and people were able to film the eclipse then, and they took videos and they saw orbs. They did see different orbs there. Now, I heard, and I'm going to show the video now, that Delta is actually going to have a flight during this eclipse tomorrow. Don't know if we still be able to fly with them, but Delta flights, that's what we're going to see now. They are planning to have one or a couple of flights so people can watch the eclipse from the airplane, from an airplane window. So this is seems to be interesting as well. Let's take a look.
There's an eclipse coming April 8th, 2024 called the Great American Eclipse. And instead of just viewing it for 3 or 4 minutes like this, instead you could book a flight on Delta that follows the path of the eclipse so that the sun, instead of staying like this for 3 minutes, would actually stay like that for several hours. I'm here on the Delta webpage itself. I'm going to zoom in on the text. But if you're a space fan or an eclipse fan, what's going to happen is there's a variety of flights, most of which take off from San Antonio or Dallas, and then fly eastward along the path of the eclipse so that you can look out the window the whole time. And in case you're curious about how this maps out, this is a map of the eclipse, and we're looking at this upper right one called the total. I'm going to zoom in on it a lot. The total solar eclipse. This is the big one, and you can see roughly the center, how much time you're going to get, and this goes through Austin, San Antonio, Waco is right in the middle of it, and it gets a big chunk of Dallas, Plano, Richardson, Garland, Arlington, all that kind of stuff. So you would just get on a plane down here in San Antonio, take off, and follow this eclipse line, though I do have to wonder, this is going to be the view from the plane, but only from like one side of the plane, right? Like one side there's going to be nothing to see, and the other side there's going to be 87 people flocked to the window, like stuck on it, just trying to stare straight at the sun. The whole plane's going to tilt. I don't know, but I know it's very cool, and I'm very glad that Delta's doing this. And if you want to just watch an eclipse for hours and hours, which is something that almost no human beings have done, you can book this flight. It's not even that expensive.
Interesting, perhaps don't know if any flat earthers have been even knew about that was possible to catch this flight and film from it. I hope we do have some flat earthers taking this flight with the P900 or P1000. You guys know, right? It was I did make a compilation of TikToks this past week that Nikon has discontinued P1000 the same day they signed a contract with NASA, and they will be providing some cameras for NASA and their next moon mission. So at the same very day, February 19th, 29th, they signed with NASA. They also released a press news that saying they had they would be discontinuing making the P1000. So there you have it. Okay, people were filming the stars and the moon and figuring out things that, well, yeah, this stuff is much closer. It's all local, and they, NASA went after them, offered them a good deal, perhaps, and bye P1000. Hi guys, I still got more videos to share with you. Let me just check the chat first. Yeah, New Madrid earthquake, possibly, but it could be man-made, okay? It doesn't mean that it's going to be the eclipse causing it. It can be man-made. One of the things of the video that I told you guys, and I will be showing perhaps next week, it's like a Illuminati training guide. And the guy says they do have all the technology to cause earthquakes and droughts and even tsunamis. So I'm gonna bring this. Shout out to Flat Earth Panda because he sent me the video. He uploaded to his TikTok account. So let me see what else is going on here, guys. Yeah, the Nikon zoom shows instant proof, Instant proof Earth is flat. Lies in the news, truth in the movies. So shout out to Russian vids. We were supposed to talk this morning or last night. I had some relatives over from Brazil. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, so before I go on with the eclipse stuff, I got more videos that we will be playing and discussing. But I gotta take a break here to say this stuff. I have always been friendly. And I am friendly with everybody, but I gotta be careful, okay? I have been getting so many Facebook friend requests, And at the same time that I want to get rid of Facebook so bad, because since the whole, stuff started that people could not upload their videos or talk about the pandemic, how censoring they were. Since that time, 2020, 2021, I started to hate Facebook, and I want to get rid of it so bad. But because I have a business here in Japan, some of the people, my customers, our friends, students and parents, they do communicate through Facebook. They post something. They like recently, one of our students, he was the very first one in the nation. He took an English test, and he was the #1 national. And they study with us, and he studies with us. So the parents posted all over the Facebook, their Facebook page and pictures and linked to my name, So for business locally, it's really good to me, Facebook. But I don't like the platform. It's not a platform where we can say what we want. So I've been trying to get rid of it for so long. So I'm going to tell you guys, I told this to Russian Vids several weeks ago. We had a conversation over the phone. I once had someone who messaged me on Facebook, and asking about flights. So the problems I had with the pilot a couple of weeks ago, the other pilot I had on my show last year. They reached out to me through Facebook. So I had a lady who messaged me on Facebook, I think about 2 years ago. She said, she was a flat earther. She asked me a whole bunch of stuff about flights. She asked me to, hey, can you trace these flights on the Gleason's map for me? I took this flight. And so we had some conversation, on Facebook, like texting. And then she wanted to talk to me, real talk. And then I have a Skype account I use also for classes, with the students. And I told her, well, maybe we can talk over Skype. But my computer, I don't have a camera. I'm using my phone because my computer does not have a camera, a built-in camera. So when I talk with people on my computer, it's through audio only. There's no camera. So she told me, okay, I want to talk to you on Skype, blah, blah, blah. And then she said, go to Skype, and I'm going to call you. And the whole time I thought was, let's talk about flat Earth, That's my only interest. When I turned on my Skype and she did turn hers on, she had her camera on, okay? And she was on a bed wearing lingerie, okay? And even though she told me she was in her 50s, the lady on the video was like in her 30s. She wasn't in her 40s yet. And she kept asking me, turn on your camera, turn on your camera. I said, I don't have a camera. And then I just say, okay, I know, this is a setup. This is a setup. I turn everything off. I deleted the lady, blocked. Okay. So it was clear there was some Globers or whatever trying to set me up, maybe record me talking to the lady and then make public. So it's very difficult for me today to trust, and I want to be friends with everybody, but a lot of people have ill intentions. They don't have good intentions, So I'm very weary now about just accepting friends. And I do have a friend, a flat earther friend. He lost his channel because a guy who pretended to be a flat earther, once he invited to the show, the guy showed himself naked. And then YouTube immediately ended the stream and deleted his channel. He lost his 5,000 subscribers channel. Okay, so I got to be more careful with that. So I apologize if I'm not accepting friend requests lately, being slow on replying to emails or stuff like that. It's because there's a lot of things going on, and Globers play dirty sometimes, and they want to do anything possible to, bring us down. That's the way it is. Another thing I want to talk to you before we go on to the more videos. If you guys want to support this channel, you can go to my Flat Earth Bungee store, grab a t-shirt, a pillow, a map. We got like a Amelia Earhart flight route on the Gleason's map. I got many nice items, but I also have to tell you guys this. The company that sells my stuff is giving me a hard time, paying out. I had my Christmas sale that was promoted by David Wise in the app, paid like at the end of January. I don't know if it's because I sell Flat Earth stuff, they are giving me such a hard time for the payouts. I gotta write them. I'm almost like, hey, come on, guys, it's time for you to pay me out. Why are you taking a month, Because it's the same company that make stuff for the Glober stuff, McKeegan, the Mentor Pilot, who has 1.6 million subscribers. So I don't know if they are giving me a hard time because I do Flat Earth stuff, or if they are doing this with everyone, They're just being really, they weren't like that. Last year when I started, I requested, a week later I had the payouts, but now they're giving me such a hard time. And I wonder, is it because I'm selling Flat Earth stuff? And, it helps a lot. I got my parents in Brazil. I talked to my mom last night. She called me. And, she told me things here are very, very difficult. The Lula government is making a lot of cuts for the... My mom is in her 80s. My dad is in her 90s. So they're cutting their retirement or pension, whatever, So the sales help a lot, but they're giving me such a hard time. So I sometimes say, well, I hope you guys are getting your stuff because it's hard for me to get my share, But anyway, if you do want to support the channel, I got some t-shirts there, nice ones. I'm always adding some more stuff. And you can always support the channel on not TikTok, on Patreon or PayPal. All right, let's move on. I'm going to play a short ad here before we move on so I can have some water. So let's watch Rampage Jackson. That's his name? Yeah, this guy right here.
96. It's a big boy. So I got two big guests. Big names, big bodies.
Huge.
Yeah, I don't even know if I introduce you to. You got Rampage, the Legend Jackson here. You got Bradley. Meet me at 260. Martin.
How much you weigh right now?
Why people care if people believe in the earth the way the Bible describes it? Why do people get so mad about that?
Does the Bible describe it as flat?
Yeah.
It does?
With the dome, the firmament, and everything.
Oh, that's news to me.
That's new. You never read the Bible?
No.
That's the problem.
That is a problem. That's why I go to hell.
So why do people get mad at people if they just describe the earth the way the oldest history book describes it?
Yeah. So does this mean you think it's flat?
Yep.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
But what were you gonna say about?
This is what changed me when I looked into emergency landings. Something simple as that. That's what changed me to go more to like, oh yeah. Then I went to the Bible and started reading with the Bible. I used to be a Christian, so I was like, oh, I've read this stuff before, but we think of it different. I went there. Now I look at the Old Testament like a history book, and so I went and read it and like a history book. I was like, oh, okay, it broke everything down for me. But if you look into whenever you have time, just look into emergency landings.
What do you mean by emergency landing?
Like when say somebody's flying from Asia coming to LA, and like if it's an emergency or something, and then see like the way they land, and then you gonna think like, wow, that's not an emergency land. They went all the way out the way, and then you got to break down why did they do that? Why they go all the way out the way, and they say it's an emergency landing. That's what changed my mind.
Why would they go all the way?
Exactly. That's the point.
Exactly.
But why would that prove that the earth is flat if you go out of the way?
Because if it was an emergency, a real emergency, wouldn't you go somewhere closer?
You go somewhere closer?
And not somewhere out of the way?
when we see the emergency landing on the globe, it don't make sense.
Oh, because it's like this.
Yeah, so it's farther away.
Yeah.
So common sense would tell me that we're being lied to about the geography of our things.
Why lie to us about the Earth being round, though?
That's the big question.
Don't waste any more time. Visit the links above now and order my book, 16 Emergency Landings Proving Flat Earth. Visit my online store now and order the new enhanced Gleason's Flat Earth map. This map used to be in every school and library in the nation before NASA was created in 1958, when the maps were ordered removed. Have your Gleason's map hanging on the wall in your house where no government can take it down. Here you see it hanging on a wall in the house of the late Charles K. Johnson. Here is a quote from the book 1984 by George Orwell. Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Order your map now.
Alright guys, I did place a link to my store on the chat if you guys want to support or go to any of my videos. I have a Patreon, you have a PayPal account. And yes, I saw this comment here, she was pumping you for information. These people, they use all sorts of tactics, especially women, like if you look in the Bible, how did they get John the Baptist killed? Because it was a beautiful woman there sent to the king. And he said, whatever you ask me, even half of my kingdom, I'll give it to you. And she said, give me the head of John the Baptist on this plate. And he did it. So that's why they sometimes send women, because women sometimes may be weak and fall for that. So I found it very strange when she turned on her camera and she was wearing lingerie on a bed, asking me to turn my camera on so she could maybe film the whole thing or record and then say, look, this is Eddie, flat earther, whatever, So that's why I am really now careful, with friend requests and friendship, because things are getting weird out there, really weird. Someone was asking about the orbs, so I will play that video from John Levy talking about the orbs, the people filmed from airplanes. I'll just find it here, because I did play this a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it's right here. So he's talking about, like, I think it was 2014 or 15, there was an eclipse. And an airline, I think Alaska Airlines, took some people to film the eclipse, and several people who had their cameras saw there were 4 orbs. It was 1 blocking the sun and 3 below. And also I saw another video, they say about this dark body that shapes like a dragon. They're talking about this same thing, it's like a tail. All right, so let's go ahead and watch this one.
The sun took place, and the Travel Quest International Company organized a flight of 50 people to observe this phenomenon from the North Atlantic, and this is where the subject gets interesting. Several passengers filmed the totality of the eclipse, and the recordings show black orbs without light around the sun. And one of these orbs was covering the sun at the moment of the eclipse. Total solar eclipse, March 20th, 2015. And here we can see a nice view through the window. And this is what I wanted to see. Something real. And something nice and up there, not from our perspective. And here we go. Boom. Now they come into view. The orbs that I've spoken about seeing. Orbs that can actually move independently, but otherwise move as fixed stars. And I told you of the one that flew over my head and then just parked in its position and just appeared to be a star. And of course we have things we are told that orbit in opposition. And here's an example. Here's 4 of them moving in opposition. And what I find fascinating is if this is true, which I believe it is, it seems a lot more plausible than anything I've ever heard on the subject. That means that the stars, or at least some of them, may actually move in front of the sun. And it's certainly the case here with these 4+ orbs. And here we can see it passing, and now we see the eclipse. And we still see the 3 underneath it. Absolutely amazing. And again, this was a group of photographers. It's not just one photographer. And here he helps highlight this, really showing you a lot of the points that many people might want to refute, such as the smudges on the window. And then he highlights these orbs so we can clearly see the way they move. And this just ties right into my last video, where I was showing Emily Suzanne's time lapse of the luminaries and how they all just moved like a clock. And this just all rings so true to me. All the images I'd ever seen, even all the stuff on this platform that will pop up in the first few pages of searching, is all BS, just showing a false picture, doctored up. And this is what always perplexed me, is why I couldn't see the moon before. Even this last eclipse that I saw when I was working at the hospital. Why did I not see the moon approaching it? Well, that makes sense now. It was essentially an invisible orb until it reached this point, and then again became invisible. And again we have proof now that the moon has been out in historical records. We have proof that it's not the moon causing the eclipses, that there are other moons or luminaries that perhaps have burnt out, but still continue their path, true and predictable. And I had no doubt everything was going to tie in together. All of this, the history, the realm, the orbs. And then this creator explains that these were the images that were posted to the news from the same flight. And they were BS images. They had edited out the rest of the orbs. And again, even before I got to this point and to this video, so many of the videos were also edited. Certainly anything with over 100,000 views. And I was looking for videos with very little views, very amateur. But even then, I couldn't find what I've discovered here. And we've since seen lots of charts examining the old world, and even the clock in Prague doing a better job of explaining what's going on in a working model. The Royal Astronomical Society in June of 1850 wrote, "We must seriously doubt that the moon is the only satellite of the Earth."
All right, that was John Levy reporting, because the original video was in Spanish, actually, talking about these orbs, and several photographers captured that in different windows. So you cannot be, you cannot say, I see Mike Apose here saying I was windows laughing, but all the other windows did capture the same thing. You cannot have those 3 dots in all, you know, that's another coincidence, coincidence theorist. So Mike, sorry about that, brother, but you being like a coincidence theorist right there, claiming that every window on the plane, 50 people photographing, and they all had, you know, shout out to John Bailey, Curve Buster, New Zealand, in the house. Hello, Alain Horizonte. How are you, brother? I did display your experiment with the alcohol a couple shows before. I did show here on live. So if you guys don't know, Alain Horizonte Prime, Brazilian flat earther. And he did the experiment I showed here with alcohol, 2 vials. He had one heated, he placed in hot water on the stove, and the other one he placed inside the fridge. for 15 minutes each, okay? After he took them out at the same time and placed them inside a bucket of alcohol, and the vials had alcohol as well. So one sank, the other one floated. So the one that was in the fridge sank, the one that was on the stove had been heated, floated, which means it kept more energy, had more energy. So there was no gravity there. Where is gravity? You show that the heated one, which had more energy, floated, and the one that was in the fridge sank. You guys check. Couple of shows ago, I did display his experiment. So shout out to Lindo Horizonte Prime. Great experiment, and I really enjoy your channel. I do watch. But the flat earth in Brazil, they have a whole different set of ideas, but they cover other aspects that we cover other than what we cover in the US. So shout out to you. Shout out to everybody. Lisa, Dawn, Mother, I don't know what that stuff is. Anyway, so guys, yeah. So shout out everyone. Let's move on. We got some more videos about the eclipse. Okay. So as I said, this eclipse is only 4 minutes. Let's take a look at this video.
This solar eclipse coming in April is starting to become more and more strange by the day, with all of the stuff being done ahead of said eclipse. Case in point, here in Ohio, DeWine signed a executive order ahead of the total solar eclipse. And here in Oklahoma, 22 members of an elite chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear unit will be housed. So can you tell me exactly what is going on during this eclipse, why they need all this stuff? In Ohio, there's an executive order that has been signed. Here in Oklahoma, the National Guard is going to be present. And you can even read this right here. I'm not sure exactly where this is at, but look at the list of all of this stuff for the upcoming eclipse, the eclipse preparation that you can do. Fill up your gas tank in your car. Fill up gas cans too. And the list goes on and on and on. What do they know? Because this eclipse is only lasting like 4 minutes on April the 8th. So what do they know? Why would they need all of this stuff done right here? It's very strange.
All right, so Lisa, shout out Lisa. You are on the path. You're under the path, but unsure if I want to look. Not sure why I feel hesitant. Yeah, I don't think there. Well, there are different opinions. Okay, people say, well, the Native Americans tell their people not to look at the eclipse. Maybe they have some sort of superstitions or something. But the people observe. Sometimes you need to study and observe the eclipse. Okay. My problem, which I have, as I said, as an emergency manager, is that some group of people, whoever that group of people might be, may be using the event to do some evil things, mass casualties, false flags, and or even consequences of like firing CERN and the rockets, HARP, all that stuff going on. So you got to be careful. So I don't know what to say. I wish you talk to your family and see what should you do? Stay home inside, or perhaps go outside and look. There is also, there was some of the videos I was hesitant to bring to YouTube because I don't know if they would allow me to play anyway, or just censor the whole live stream or delete the live stream. But some people were saying there will be some airplanes flying instead of the normal chemicals they disperse in the air that blocks the sun and the moon like we have it here today. They might be releasing some toxical stuff. So if you go outside and you're there, you might be subject to some toxic elements that had been dispersed in the air. So there are many reasons why we should be careful, you know, because as I said, we're dealing with cycles, and those cycles, they worship the devil, and they are in power. They are our leaders. So anything is possible. Okay. So it's a beautiful event, of course, because it's God's creation. He did it. If it's there, because he put it there. But we never know. Yeah, they don't want us to see it's not the moon eclipsing the sun. They want to hide the truth. Exactly. That's why they say don't film the eclipse and all that stuff. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's move on to the next video and talking about the sun, the moon not being aligned. We watched one similar before. Let's take a look at this one right now.
We have several states that have issued an emergency way ahead of time. We have the National Guard being called into states. Some states even have the Army that are going. And here's the thing, this should really honestly be a tourist event. It is a beautiful celestial event that is supposedly normal. So why do we have all these precautions in place? Why are we telling people to buy food for 2 weeks and stay inside? Now, if you look up the new moon that is supposedly occurring during the eclipse on April 8th, every website is going to tell you that it is a new moon in Aries. If you will go look up the sky view of April 8th, 2024, you will see that the moon and the sun are both in Pisces. Am I reading that wrong? Am I looking at that incorrectly? And if I'm not looking at it incorrectly, why is every website, every news article reporting that this moon is going to be in Aries? In all reality, it doesn't move into Aries until the next day. And that's not mentioning how Venus, Neptune, and Mercury are all lined up, or how the Devil's Comet's going to be passing by in the same time.
So, you know, interesting that stuff, all that stuff going on, the moon, and, you know, not being aligned. And again, you know, let me show that image again. Actually, let me see if I can go to timeanddate.com and we go and look at this now, like live, timeanddate.com. And let's look at this right now and look at the sun day and night map. All right, so let's look at this. Share my screen. All right, so this is the sun and the moon. Okay, they're coming just above the crater right here. Okay, so let me see, plus 6 hours right there. That's 6 hours. Okay, you see it here. Now remember, the eclipse is going, according on the globe model, is going from southwest to the northeast. The flat Earth, of course, it comes this way. Now this is the globe projection, not the flat Earth. So let's advance another hour. Okay, another hour right here, 8 April. This is UTC time. Another hour. There you see the shade, the shadow coming, approaching, right? According to the globe. And another hour, right? Now, if the shade was like this, okay, but it suddenly is going to take a turn and go to the northeast, right? It doesn't make any sense on the globe. See there? It doesn't make any sense. Another hour. There it is. Okay, the shade should be right here, not there. So I did ask a couple globes, you know, show me this transition on the globe. Show me how the globe is tilting 4 minutes, 4 minutes, causing this tilt and the shade going from southwest to northeast. They won't do it. They won't do it. And there it is. It's over. But the whole time, you know, they're right here, according. But the lady, as you just watch it, she was explaining how not even in the alignment they are. So not being this the moon causing this eclipse in any way. All right, so let's move to the another one, and this one also talks about cell phones being down. One thing they may do, to prevent people from recording, they might knock out the area, the coverage. They might pull this trick, so that's knowing that's not the moon that's causing this eclipse, they may pull down a trick, and bring down all the coverage and stuff. So let's watch this one
This
here.
eclipse is getting more and more strange by the day. They are warning that there could be cell phone outages during said eclipse. So could the AT&T outages have been a test for what's to come? It really seems as if that might have been the case, because now they are warning of possible cell phone outages during the April 8th eclipse. So what are they preparing to do? Why would they be warning of alternative ways to communicate with walkie-talkies and other ways to communicate on said day when the eclipse is supposed to only last like 4 minutes? You tell me what is going on. To me, it seems as if they're planning something major. But what do they know that we don't know? Why would they continue to be warning us of all of this stuff during the eclipse, telling us to stock up on food, stock up on essentials, fill our gas tanks? Why would they be warning of all of these things, warning of possible cell phone outages, among other things? There is something strange surrounding this upcoming eclipse.
All right, so another point to consider, they may be on purposely knocking out the cell phone's coverage in the areas to prevent people from live streaming, especially if we see that it's not the moon causing this eclipse. So they don't want us to propagate these images, these videos. So there are many tricks they have in hand that they can play during this event. Perhaps to overshadow the moment or the eclipse itself and the revelation that it's not the moon causing it, they might cause this mass casualty event. So there will be something to be on the news for several days and weeks. It's a way to overshadow the eclipse in itself by talking about perhaps a terrorist attack or a gas, not gas, like a gas, attack like we had in Tokyo on the subway. Somebody released a deadly gas years ago, decades ago. So they might be planning something like this, like a plan B. Okay, hey guys, everybody can see it's not the moon, so fire this bomb, explode this bomb somewhere. So the whole news, day and night for the coming weeks, will be just talking about that event, and everybody will forget about the solar eclipse. So there's a lot of things that you might consider that a lot of tricks they can pull out of this to prevent people from talking, from commenting on what's really going on. All right, so something for you to think about, for all of us to think about. Okay, so I have another one. This is the last video that I selected on this topic. Guy talks about the moon moving vertically. Okay, now some people say, oh no, it's normal, sometimes the moon do move vertically, but according to day and night here, display here again, according to timeanddate.com, they are aligned. They come in here aligned, okay? Now, somebody, I think it was Seven Club, he had a video showing another app that displayed the moon and the sun not being aligned. So they kind of fixed this the same way many people, like when we discover something, Google goes there and fix. So the same way they fixed because it was not showing alignment on this platform, timeday.com. They fixed, now it shows alignment. Okay, so let's move back 12 hours. You see there, it's aligned. Okay, more or less aligned. So where is the eclipse going on in this region? That shows that the sun and the moon is really local. You know, this, if this is the globe rotating, right here, that should be the people in West Africa should be seeing, or even here in Brazil, should be seeing this eclipse right now. It just shows that the sun and the moon are small and local, and it's not, we don't live on a spinning ball. All right, let me play the last one of these videos about the eclipse, and then we will go on from there.
With the April eclipse fast approaching, a lot of people are talking about the sun and the moon not being in alignment for the eclipse. Well, I'm here to trigger everybody and claim the moon doesn't even cause the eclipse in the first place. Have I got your attention now? Let's talk about it. Okay, first things first, we're going to watch a video of the path of the sun and the moon, both in this video. You're going to see them over here on the left, move across to the right. And you're going to see this in the same pattern you see them move every day with your own eyes and your own sky. They both approach from the east and leave to the west. So let's take a look at this clip. Here we go. We've got a sun moving across the sky. Fairly straight. It does have a little bit of an arch to it. It's a fairly straight path. Here's the moon. The moon also has a fairly straight path in the sky, right? And next up, we're going to take a look at a clip of the 2017 eclipse. This is pulled off of YouTube. This is from Celestron Telescope Company. And the main thing you need to watch in this clip is location of the object eclipsing the sun. It starts at the top. That's the path of the sun and the path of the moon. They're both east to west. If two objects are moving left to right in the sky, how does an object start at the top and go straight down the sun? It is not the moon. Let's take a look at this clip now. Okay, what do you think? What is it? I'm not going to make a claim. I don't know what this is. I don't. I do know that that is not the sun and the moon, both moving left to right in the sky, yet vertically at the same time. So no, they're not going to line up in Pisces or Aries or whatever else it's supposed to be. Because the moon is not involved, okay? The moon does not move vertical in the sky.
Alright guys, that's very interesting, and if you guys want to watch some more, I do have another compilation that I put together on my channel, this one right here. NASA will fire rockets at the eclipse on April 8th. There's several short videos there talking about the eclipse. I decided to go ahead and upload this last Friday, preparing us for the this eclipse. Always, if you want to see more compilations, go to my playlist. I have over 200 TikToks compilation that I have put together over the last 2 years, I guess. And always, every video You will find there if you want to support this channel that the glistens, blue glistens, red glistens. Link to my store, Patreon, and PayPal. So guys, we're gonna check the chat one more time before we close the stream for this week. I do hope to be next week. Yanni Spice, yes, shout out to you. I forgot to shout you out. Hello, all. Fefe, the Siamese cat. Ramon Gonzalez. Yeah, we never know. Maybe it's the sun, that does that to itself. Okay? It could be a possibility. We cannot rule anything out because it's a mystery. I like the Mark Knight video from years ago, 7, 8 years ago, the Luminaries Mystery. It was an excellent video. Mark Knight is off YouTube. And Francis Knight. So guys, shout out to everyone who are here, and I thought that maybe Russian Vids was going to join us today, but I don't know. We missed each other last night. I had my mom calling me from Brazil and my relatives over here, so it was a crazy night. And he sent me a message. He wanted to speak over the phone, but I went to bed past midnight. Keep it flat. I'll be filming the Eclipse tomorrow using a P1000. Yeah, great. Just be careful. All right, just go back if you have just joined the chat now and the live stream. We cover a lot of aspects. I gave my point of view as an emergency manager. A lot of measures have been taken in several counties and states and cities concerning the eclipse. Some people are expecting some sort of false flag event or even a real event, terrorist event. So just be careful, you and your family. So yeah, it's not really the sky. Remember, the fallen angels are over there, fallen angels, and they can make a lot of things. Now I do want to find. I asked I think it was, I don't know who I asked, and the pastor who was here, but I saw that there's somehow in a book, or I don't know if it's Enoch or one of those apocryphas, that says that Satan had made those marks, the craters on the moon, to deceive humanity. So the moon used to be not having the craters, but Satan did that to deceive the people. So this is interesting because I'm trying to find that, because I saw the guy speaking about it, and I don't know who was the person, because I want to get the exact quotation, which book it is, and bring it to us. Hi guys, it's time to close now. Thank you so much. But some people are just joining and we are at the very end. We've been on for an hour 52. I started a little bit earlier today, but it's time for me to go. Thanks everyone. I'm gonna close again with Dave J. Carroll. Stratocurious. Hi, shout out David J. Carroll. Great guy. I invited him over, and he said he would rather speak to us, to you guys, through his music. So let him speak to you guys through his music right now. Thanks, guys. See you next week. I'm planning to be back next week if the Lord so allow us. God bless you guys. Bye-bye.
Wonderful, magical, celestial light, fantastical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air view stratospherius, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball on a helium balloon, hydrogen with portholes and instruments, sailed towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles up, 10 temperature, left for dead, trapped in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by deceivers, false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful, magical, awesome, yes, stealing our light. Wonderful, that heavy light, supernatural, eternal, supernatural. Up we go, higher than rainbows, higher than mountains, above cumulonimbus, higher than air, high level horizon, 360 around us, but right round behind us, any height that you dare. The sun and the moon both revolve above around us, to forever short time pass intelligently there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, no more you deceive us, we see through you like air. Kipper and Picard were the first ever known to reach up there. Divine luminescent light, mystical, wonderful, celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed hid by deceivers and false make-believers, still cowering in shadows, still fearing our light. Here we go, higher than Everest, higher than airplanes, above zero cumulus, higher than air, a level horizon, 360 around us, no motion beneath us, no spinning, no tail. Stars on the firmament, turn along around us, to forever short time past geometrically there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air. Mystics on a luminous light, fantastical, magical, breathtaking, we see through you like air. Magical angels of light, beautiful, wonderful, celestial light. The first to see truth when they reach for the stars, explorers and physicists Kipper and Picard. Never you'll defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air.